This is something that you should never do.
Absolutely.
Значи
Never do.
имаме новина. На оригинален амортисьор, спортна пружина не се слага.
Yeah, that's right.
Здравейте, намираме се в поредния епизод. Къде съм? Разбира се, на гости на Q-сервис. И днеска изключително много се вълнувам, както всеки път, защото тук имаме един специален гост. Ще си говориме за това, защо ни друса, кога завива, кога не завива и нещо амортисьорът и тропа.
Здравей, Филип.
Здравей, много ми е драго. Кажи кой ни е на гости и моля ти се, много се вълнувам, защото гледам, че днеска ще си говорим за тунинга май.
Да, ще говорим за апгрейд на окачването. Какво трябва да правим, какво да не правим. И днеска имаме много специален гост. Честно казано, не смятам някога специалист от неговия ранг да е бил поканен в предаване в България. Нашият гост се казва Каталин, ние на село, като той е много интересна личност. Първото, което трябва да спомена за него е, че е професионален рали състезател.
Добре, значи има опита, може да кажа от първо лице, не само на теория.
Категорично, да, като той се състезава професионално от 2020 година. Първоначално в серии като Hill Climb и като Time Attack. Като
високопланинско и писта.
Да, в последните 3 години изцяло и само в рали сериите. Като автомобилите, които е ползвал в предишните години и в сегашните му автомобили, са изцяло билднати от него, изцяло са изградени от него, като става дума за Peugeot 106, за Suzuki Swift, за BMW 90, Mini Cooper S. Настоящите му автомобили са два идентични, като става дума за Toyota Yaris GR, като единият е подготвен за макадан, другият е за асфалт.
Ама той много шарена палитра има от автомобили, значи като минеш BMW-та, малки, 140, смисъл, цялата група е качил.
Да. И всъщност така големите му постижения, които не може да пропуснем, е, че 22 и 23 година става шампион на Румъния. За да допълним образа му, още от 2008 година с няколко други съдружника стартират автосервис в Румъния, като той се грижи за набавянето на авточасти и за бизнес развитието на сервиза. Успява да го развият до много големи мащаби. 24-та година той продава своя дял и тогава, вече 4 години след като е бил започнал да се състезава професионално, благодарение на опита му в състезанията, в това, че ползва окачванията на BILSTEIN и въобще цялото му партньорство с компанията, от BILSTEIN го канят да се присъедини към техния екип. И на практика той в момента отговаря за бизнеса на BILSTEIN в Румъния и в България, като, ако трябва да сме съвсем точни, компанията, за която работи, се нарича IHR, но тя пък е тази, която е отговорна за бизнеса на BILSTEIN. Okay, Katalin, I have two interesting questions for you to start with. And the first one is, who produced the first gas shock absorber?
Well, clearly it was made by BILSTEIN,
okay.
Using the decarbon principle in 1954.
Okay.
That equipped back then the Mercedes 300B.
Okay, great. And second question is, what was the car to be equipped with the first mass-produced adjustable shock absorbers?
That's a very good one. In 1990, the era of everything was possible back then. The first car that had adjustable shock absorbers was the famous Porsche 959.
Okay.
The most advanced car of their time, with over 330 kilometers per hour can make that car. So yeah, this was the first series in adjustable suspension.
Okay.
Само да допълня, че по принцип ние знаем в България, че най-яките коли на планетата, не само България, истинската е, че всички казват Мерцедес и всички останали, но истината е, че Порше и всички останали, но за професионална употреба Поршетата наистина имат нужда от апгрейд. И това го знае всеки Порше собственик, колкото и да се кефите, защото много собственици карат Поршета, които не могат да карат, но те, които могат да си карат Поршета, те наистина ги апгрейдват. Нали, хората да не се очудват как така ще смениш на Порше окачване. Това е първият тунинг на Поршето, който се прави всъщност.
Така, има защо, тъй като пак се връщам на това, че окачването на BILSTEIN е премиум. И, okay, but who was the producer of this first mass-produced shock absorber?
BILSTEIN.
BILSTEIN.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we are done. No further questions.
Absolutely.
Okay. We have a bottom line to start from because all of our viewers are already aware of monotube, twin tube construction, principles of operation, and most common failures as well. So we need to upgrade that knowledge a little bit. So can you please tell us a few words about the main product lines of BILSTEIN?
Okay. So mainly we arrange them in two parts. This is, let's say, standard, and the next, the first in performance, and the second one is high performance, where you can upgrade your car. Starting with the B4, which is a very standard shock absorber. You can see it on OE. So the principle of the B4 is to offer original quality, comfort, stability, exactly like the recipe, if I can say it like this, on the auto producer. This is the main shock absorber that maybe all of us can buy it for their normal car, in normal driving. Yeah. Besides that, everyone knows that in the suspension assembly, we also need, besides the shock absorber, we're going to need a spring, which in this case, BILSTEIN offers the B3. This is the name of the springs. Okay, they are black, not red. And the other parts are the top mount parts, which are extremely important also when you exchange. And one of the most important parts and the most, let's say, cheaper is a protection kit. It's mandatory to mount them every time you exchange your shock absorber.
For sure.
Until here, we have the, let's say, normal, original quality of the shock absorber and also the assembly.
Okay.
Moving on, now for us, which we are, let's say, enthusiasts in this part of cars, BILSTEIN offers, like no others in the market, the possibility to make an upgrade. And we will start here with the well-known, the yellow shock absorber. Yellow shock absorbers are practically two. We have the B6 and the B8, which looks identical. Yeah, the B6, it's first of the mainly difference, let's say, between them, it's difference of technology. These two are practically exactly for the same car, and we have, you can see from the start that we have difference in them.
In the diameter.
Стъблата са различни. Може ли да кажем, че това е за обикновено шофиране, това е за феновете?
Answer is yes. Mainly, this shock absorber will satisfy mostly of the enthusiasts there. You don't have to go really in the performance area, high performance area, to be satisfied on the road. For us, which mostly we would like to, let's say, a little bit of high speed, a little bit of cornering, a little bit of more braking, as you said. Yeah. Well, this kind of shock absorber does it all in terms of upgrading your suspension. The main thing and the best quality you can buy it right now is that you only have to replace the shock absorber, not the springs and not anything else. You can mount your normal original spring on the car, and with this B6, so this is his name is B6, that is going to be replaced with the normal spring, your original spring.
Okay.
The difference are, of course, you can see that the white of this, and then the technology. In this, we have the technology that it's called twin tube, as you said, probably in before episodes, and this we have monotube. Besides the difference you can see visible, we can have here like 5 bars of pressure of nitrogen.
5 bars.
Yeah, here we can have 25 bars. Yeah, so
доста голяма разлика.
the main thing that this shock absorbers offers you, besides performance, you can feel it right away. It can offers you a lot of more durability, reliability. You can serve this, let's say, maybe 2 or 3 times longer than a normal shock absorber. When you are overriding it, you can have heavy loads, can carry heavy things in your car, and yeah, this shock absorber will be great there, and great when you want to increase the speed, cornering, and so on in difficult times. I presume that many of the enthusiasts can would try this, and then it's going to intervene a problem. It's very hard when you are going to exchange your car to come back to a normal to a normal shock absorber. Yeah, including my cars and also the company car. We are exchanging the shock absorber from normal one to original ones to B6 right away, 1,000, 2,000 kilometers as new cars, as you see in the back in my car. Yeah.
And can we say that this shock absorber, it has nothing to do with sports, but it gives you much more confidence while taking turns?
Yeah. Well, for someone who understands the dynamic of the car, yeah, this kind of shock absorber can be, let's say, felt and understood very, very fast when you're driving with a higher speed and with heavy loads. You can understand how this shock absorber would perform. I would like to invite everyone else to try it once, not only to listen to advices from like a normal product, just to try it once, and they will see, they will feel it by themselves.
Okay, let's move on to the next product line.
Okay, now if I presented the B6, I'm going to present the B8, which is more or less the same shock absorber. The only difference is that the B8 is made to work with a lowering spring or a sport spring. Why? We unfortunately have many of the enthusiasts. They are choosing to mount the lowering springs kit to the normal shock absorber, which is wrong, unfortunately.
This is
very important.
Something that you should never do.
Absolutely.
Имаме новина. На оригинален амортисьор, спортна пружина не се слага.
Yeah, that's right.
This is something that we really need to stress about because lowering springs, they do have shorter spring travel, and that will definitely lead to loss of action of the shock absorber if you combine regular shocks and lowering springs.
Exactly, as you said, so please never use the lowering spring or the sport spring with a normal shock absorber. It doesn't matter which brand. The lower spring should be mounted only with a shock absorber that is designed to be mounted with the lowering spring. If you have a car which has M Sport suspension or AMG or S-Line, then you know that the car is lowered. It has sport suspension. That means that from the factory the car has a sport spring.
Okay.
That's why you should use in those packages, of sports packages, the B8.
Okay, Katalin, I have a question for you.
Please.
Can you ruin your B8 shock absorber if you combine it with a standard spring?
I don't think so. But I don't see the reason to mount a standard spring on a B8. Of course, you're not going to ruin it, but you're not going to have the same expectation as you want. So in terms of damage, I don't think so, but in terms, let's say, of the feedback of the shock absorber, you won't have the, let's say, expected response. So it's not a recipe that you should use. Simple B4, B6 with standard spring, and B8 with sport spring, lowering springs, or sport package springs.
Okay, and if I have my shocks failed and I come into your garage, for example, what would you recommend I should take? Standard B4 or some kind of an upgrade like B6, for example?
Depends from person to person. For example, if I'm going to ask a person that drives absolutely normal, doesn't need any more feedback from the suspension, or someone who just wants to get from A to B safely, for sure the B4, which is original quality and original recipe, is the good choice. For someone like us, which sometimes would really like something better, like an upgrade, but still don't want to ruin the comfort, which is a very important thing. When you have kids, when you have, I don't know, your wife doesn't want a very sporty car, but you still want the response from the suspension once in a while to be very productive and very clearly, then for sure you can choose the B6. The difference between them is huge, and you will love the B6 quality and response.
Well, except for the car enthusiast, is it designed for either for vehicles that have a high center of gravity, or vehicles that have high level of body roll, or vehicles that are frequently driven with high loads?
So the main, besides the response and the upgrade from normal cars, B6 performs very good in other, let's say, other terms, like vans, like campers. For example, with high body rolling chassis, or very high chassis.
Like Mercedes A-Class, for example.
Yeah, the Mercedes A-Class. If you are going to get back in history, you saw that besides the Mercedes problem back then, with the moves test, BILSTEIN produced a shock absorber that resolved the problem. You can read, everybody can read about the problem. I'm not going to get into it. But also in terms of B6, for example, campers. Any camper enthusiast, like myself, when you're driving on the highway and you have side winds or passing a very high truck, you can see the pushing and the forces they are into it, exactly. It's a very big difference between the normal technology and, let's say, twin tube technology and monotube technology in this way. So every, let's say, also camper enthusiast will also appreciate this. But not only, you know that in Poland, in Romania, even in Bulgaria, we have those vans until 3.5 tons, like a Citroen Jumper, a Mercedes Sprinter, and so on. They are doing transport all over Europe. They are always in heavy loads. Any driver of that van can see the difference when they have the B6. Whenever you loaded a lot of weight on your van, but the difference. I'm telling because I had a company back in Romania when I was working to my workshop that also replaced the normal shock absorber with these. And after that, on all of their cars, they replace directly with B6. So a huge difference. And
B6 is, for most of the cases, B6 is monotube shock absorber.
Yeah, most of the cases,
and it is designed to work upside down, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that this bump stop is actually hidden inside.
Exactly.
This is a nice feature.
Another upgrade, let's say another positive thing, is that this twin tube, you can mount it at maximum, let's say 45 degrees. Because of those two oil channels. In the monotube, you can mount it as you want, it doesn't matter. You can move it at any angle. This is another thing that it's a positive difference between twin tube and monotube.
I'm getting back to B8. What's the level of lowering that those B8 shock absorbers allow?
So practically around, let's say, maximum 40 millimeters, something like this. I think also is the top end of when you change real drastic the dynamics of the car. 40 millimeters, it's, I think, the maximum you can want to lower your car. Of course, there are many that can have also springs that they are going to lower the car 50 millimeters. I think 40, it's a very good, it's where you should have the same response in terms of dynamics of your car.
Okay, let's move on to B12, B14 and the rest of the stuff.
So after B8, we have the B12. B12, it's practically a kit where you combine B8 with a lowering spring or sport spring. Many times the springs are from the company that BILSTEIN works for a lot of years, from Maybach. This is not a secret. And the B12, it's like a solution for everything. When you want for your car, let's say you have a standard BMW with no sport suspension, but you want the car lowered. Let's say you want a sportier suspension with a better response, but you also don't want to get rid of all the comfort. You have families and so on, vacations, and then the B12 is the best solution ever. You combine practically the B8 with the iBox springs, lowering 25 millimeters, 35 millimeters, something like this, depends on the car. So this is practically a kit where you have the front and rear shock absorber with the springs that you need. A perfect solution in the end. If you don't want to combine it from somewhere else, you can have the whole solution there. Okay, and what about B14? B14, now we are crossing a little bit the border. The border from normal, or small upgrade to huge upgrade. This shock absorber here, you can name it the B14, where mostly you can find the monotube technology, but we can have and we will have adjustment for the height of the car to the coil springs. You can use it on the normal road, but in the weekend, if you want to go to the racing track, you can use it without any issues. So this is a combination between daily and track. This is clearly a very high-end upgrade. And okay, I'm not going to let this because from this side it's a B14, but if I'm going to turn it around, you can see here it has an adjustment. Yeah, that little scroll over there. This is the B16. B16 has in plus for B14, it has adjustment for, let's say, compression and rebound in the same click. With 10 clicks, you can harden or soften your shock absorber. This is next level. When we are talking about adjustment, not only in heights, this means pure motorsport. By turning that little scroll, you actually affect both compression and rebound at the same time. Exactly.
Карам си на улицата, отивам на пистата, върта тук и излизам. Добре, после го върта и карам семейството. Добре, разбрах. А от тук регулирам височината. Exactly of the car. Okay, this is B16, and what about the lines called BILSTEIN Evo, BILSTEIN Club? This is our latest generation of shock absorber. We don't have it here, but you can recognize them through their color. Mostly of them has a darker color, and the most advanced, like Evo R, are red, or Club Sport, again with some red color, but this is pure motorsport. So we have even two-way adjustment, either on compression and rebound, and also on the speed of both. So this is the next level for pure motorsport enthusiasts. You can use it on the track or rallying or so on. Next level. And Evo SE, if I remember right, are the ones that are designed for vehicles with electronic suspension control.
correctly. This is, let's say, something similar with this, that we can see the electronics behind it. So you practically have sport suspension, a sport shock absorber, but the adjustment is electronically from the car. You can see that we have a lot of suspension like this for the Porsche 911 SE. Yeah.
Тук всъщност имаме този амортисьор, ама не въртиме тук, го обработваме от бутона отвътре. Става още по-модерно.
Yeah, from inside the car, exactly. This is for off-road application.
Okay.
Also, BILSTEIN is very well known, especially in the United States, for their off-road application. Their primary name is B8 Off-Road, or right now with a new name called TerraSport, that we will see in the near future. Yeah, so BILSTEIN mostly has the solution for any application that you want, from simple to minimum upgrade, enthusiast, motorsport and off-road.
Всъщност това е основният амортисьор, който е за България. За нормално семейство е редно да се кара с такъв автомобил.
Okay, I will get back to BILSTEIN Club Sport, and those are the shocks that are equipped with twin scroll, and you can actually change the setting of compression and rebound separately. Right?
So practically you're not having only one adjustable, you have two of them, and you can adjust as you want, after tests, the rebound and the compression separately. So yeah, this is in fine motorsport details.
And it's getting much more complicated for...
It is. It's
for not experienced drivers, let's put it this way.
Заслужава ли си да сложим на нисък клас автомобил премиум окачване?
It's mainly about safety. When you say shock absorber, you're not saying about only body roll, you're also saying the brake distance. So yeah, as long as the difference is, I don't know, 7 euros difference between them, for sure I would choose something quality. Egal if it's a shock absorber or a bush or a brake pad or something like this, I will always choose premium. Premium for the reason is safety. And that's my main criteria when I choose something, safety.
И всъщност това, което искам да обобща към драгия зрител е, че имаме цялата палитра за окачване, от каквото си изберем и от каквото имаме нужда, но всъщност това, което трябва да разберем е, че за оригиналните коли просто слагаме оригинални амортисьори. Ако искаме да има лека спортна нотка и да не се пресяваме и да не го мислиме, купуваме B6 и вече нагоре отиваме към по-спортно насочените. Тоест, ако нямаш професионален екип, който да ти настройва и да знае какво върти тук, е напълно достатъчно да караш с B6.
If I remember right, the first championship that you won, you actually won it with B6 suspension?
Yeah, exactly, with my Mini. Unfortunately, on the Mini, we don't have any. We don't have many application of shock absorbers, and back then, regarding the budget also, I had to make a decision in such a way to make something that is not so expensive, but can deliver some very good feedback and response, and that's why I've chosen the B6. The B6 has a huge performance in normal roads. And you know, in rallying, we have normal roads, not on the circuit. You know, everything is flat, everything is in detail. No, in rallying, we also have ditches, we have potholes, uneven roads. And that is where the B6 super performs. Of course, it has its limitation. I don't want to brag that it's perfect for rallying. I saw the limitation, but I was very fine with it. It helped me in the end, winning the Rally 2 championship. And yeah, in the end, it was a very, very good solution. And it was a reliable solution. in the end. Perfect. I didn't broke any shock absorber, and I was having jumps, I was having big potholes, yeah, and ditches also, because this is rallying, this is not circuit racing. And the feedback from this shock absorber was very good. I also had, let's say, a short story. One of my colleagues told me that after I won a rally, he didn't believe that my car can be handled like this, and he asked me, what kind of suspension do you have? And I said, the B6. No, you cannot have the B6, it's impossible, you have some adjustable coils. And I said, no, I have the B6 with the normal and stock mini springs. No, that's impossible. And we went together to our service area and have a look underneath the car. I said, no, that's impossible. So, for the car enthusiasts, because we are having right now the BILSTEIN, I think they should try the B6.
Okay.
They should try the B6 and understand that this is a very huge upgrade, not very expensive, not complicated. Any mechanics can replace without any issues, because this is simply exactly like the same, the B4 or the stock shock absorber, and feel the difference. The difference is huge, and you don't have to spend a lot of money to feel that difference between them.
I definitely think that we dived really deep into this subject. So, last words for me. Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Аз се вълнувам изключително. За мен беше изключителна чест да бъда на гости на училище в ГЮ сервис, заедно с момчил и с такава световно известна личност, като Каталин. Защото днес дадохме домашно не само на цяла България, на Сърбия, Румъния и Гърция, защото и те ни гледат, какво сме си купили, как сме го направили и какво сме конфигурирали. От днес аз разбрах, че почвам да си купувам само B6-ци. Оттам насетне, ако ви порасне работата или отида само на писта, вече си мисля за тия неща, обаче си мисля, че трябва да има кой да я върти тази врътка. Харесвайте ни, лайквайте ни, шервайте ни, проверявайте си в интернет къде са ви Q-сервизите, за да са ви най-близко и те да ви дадат съвети и те да ви ги монтират, защото виждате колко е сложно. Дори един неправилен монтаж на една гайка, както миналия път разбрахме, го и гръмнем с пистолета, може това съвършенство да отиде в кофата и да не работи адекватно. Така че, чао, беше ми изключително приятно.
It was a pleasure. Thanks.